Welcome to Kendra's Artistic Crochet Designs. And today we are going to be making our second diamond for the month of May. And it is a tulip diamond. And this is what we're doing. We're doing these tulips. There's an open tulip and a closed tulip. Anyway, I have some really neat colors that I'm going to be using. I love this yarn, the green jelly bean it's called. I'm going to be using the dark denim for the blue and the mango for the orange. So this is a really pretty orange, the mango it's called. And my number 6 millimeter hook, which is what I always do. And we're going to get started with this. So we're going to make a slip knot and we're going to chain 2. And in the second chain from the hook, we're going to single crochet and 2 double crochets. Now that is called the falling leaf stitch, and that is also 1 square. So 1 square consists of a falling leaf stitch. And this is the first row, completely done. Alright, row 2, chain 2 and turn. Alright, and we're going to, in the second chain from the hook again, we're going to put our falling leaf stitch in that stitch, in that chain. And then we are going to skip the next 2 stitches and go to the single crochet and put another falling leaf stitch in there. Now you will always be skipping over the double crochets, and you'll always be working in the single crochets. Alright, so this is row 2, and it consists of 2 squares. 1, 2. Alright, chain 2 and turn for row 3. So again, you'll always be working in the second chain from the hook at the beginning of every row. And you start your first square there. And then in the second double crochet, I'm not going to finish that because I need to bring in my blue. Because this row consists of green, blue, green. So I'll finish that stitch by bringing in the blue, and then skipping these 2 doubles and going to the single, we're going to put our blue falling leaf stitch in there, or square. And I'm not going to finish that second double because I need to go back to our green and do the last stitch in green. So we're skipping these 2 doubles and we're going into this single right here. And then putting our green falling leaf stitch in there. Okay, and that is what row 3 looks like. And we have 3 squares, 1, 2, and 3. Alright, now we're going to start marking off we did row 1, and we did row 2, and row 3. So we'll mark them off. And now we need to do row 4. And we're going to chain 2 and turn for row 4. Starting our first square in that second chain from the hook as usual. And then I need to switch to blue. So we're going to bring the blue in. And now we need 2 blue squares next. I'm carrying this green with me because I'm going to need that at the end. Alright, and then we're going to switch back over to the green after that second blue is done and finish off with the green square. Alright, so we're going to chain 2 and turn. And again, in the second chain from the hook, we're going to start our square. We're always, in this pattern, you'll always start with green and end with green. Because the whole thing is bordered with green. So kind of knowing that kind of helps. Alright. So we are needing 3 blue in the middle this time. While we're carrying our green through here. And then we're going to switch over to our green and finish off with the green. And there's what row 4 looks like. No, row 5. So this is how you know what row you're on too. You count these squares. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so row 6, we're going to chain 2 and turn. Starting out with our green here. I'm wondering if I can, no, bring that up. There we go. Alright, so we need to switch over to the blue again. Here we go. And this time we need 4 blue in the middle of the 2 greens. So there's 3. And this is 4. Now we're going to switch over to the green. Alright, and that is row 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So, let's mark those 3 rows off before we get too far ahead of ourselves. Row 7 is next. At the beginning, this goes pretty quick. Alright, so we're going to chain 2 and turn for row 7. And starting out with our green, I'm going to make our first square in the second chain from the hook. And now we are going to need 5 blue in the middle of the 2 greens now. I think this flower is going to be a little bit easier than the daffodil that we did last week. So there's 2. 3. 4. 6. 'And then here's our green square. So there's row 7, chain 2 and turn for row 8. And in row 8, we are going to need 2 green this time instead of just 1. Alright, so there's 1. And then we need to put another one right here. And then bring up the blue. And then we need 5 blue and a green to finish off this row. So there's 3. 4. 5. And then here's the green at the end. Alright, so that was row 8. So we need to mark off row 8, 7 and 8. And row 9. Now it's starting to get a little bit more interesting. So we're going to chain 2 and turn for row 9. And we're going to start out with 1 green. And switch over to the blue. And now we're going to need 5 blue. So there's 2. 3, 4, and 5. Now we're going to switch over to our green, and we're going to do green, blue, green now. So we need a green one here, and then we're going to switch back over to our blue and put a blue one here. And here's our blue, our green, I mean, at the end. That was row 9, chain 2 and turn for row 10. In row 10 we'll have 10 squares. So as you notice that every row goes up by 1 square. Alright, so we need 1 green here, and then we're going to bring in the blue. And we need 2 blue. Yep, that goes back there. And then we need 4 green. So there's 1. 2. 3. 4. And we need to switch back over to the blue. And we need 2 blue and a green to finish off this row. Alright, and there we have it. So that is row 10. We've got 10 rows now. And that's what it looks like thus far. So we're working on the stem and the leaves. Let's mark off 9 and 10. Now we need to do 11. So chain 1 and turn. And no, chain 2. Wait a minute. I said chain 1. Chain 2 and turn. And in the second chain from the hook. There we go. So row 11, we're going to start out with 1 green, and then we're going to go to the blue. And we're going to need 2 blue. Bring in our green with us because we're going to need it. And then go back to the green after 2 blue, and we need 4 green. So there's 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then we go back to the blue, and 3 blue and 1 green will finish off this row. All right. And then there we have that. That is row 11. So chain 2 and turn for row 12. Alright, and we need 1 green, and then we need to bring up our blue. We're going to need 3 blue here while we're carrying this green with us. Alright, so there is 3, and now we're going to go to green, put the blue back there, and we need 6 green. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And now all we need is 1 blue and 1 green to finish off this row. Switching over to the green. And there is row 12. Row 12, because we've just finished up 11 and 12. There we go. Alright, so we're going to chain 2 and turn for 13. And we're going to start out with our green square. going to switch to blue. Yeah, that's right. For one blue, and then we're going to switch back to the green, and we need 6 of them. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Alright, and now we're going to switch back over to the blue. For 4 blue and 1 green should finish off this row. Alright, so that was row 13. Chained 2 in turn. And let's start 14, which is 1 green at the beginning. And then we need to bring up our blue. And we need 4 blue. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we need 7 green next. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and this is 7. And then we need 1 blue and 1 green to finish off this row. And there is row 14. So we have 14 rows done so far. Let's mark those off. "15" is next. Chain 2 and turn. And we're going to start out with 1 green and 1 blue. Alright, back to green. Now I need 2 green and 2 blue next. Okay. Now we're switching over to blue, and now we need 2 blue. Now switching back to green, we are needing 3 green, so there's 1, 2, and 3. And then we're going to switch back to blue, and we're needing 5 blue and 1 green should finish off this row. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then here's our green at the end. And that's row 15. Alright, so row 16, chain 2 and turn. We'll start off with a green, and then we're going to switch over to blue. And we need 5 blue. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Alright, so then we're going to switch back over to the green, and we need 4 green, So there's 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then over to the blue, we're needing 3 blue, there's 1, 2, and 3. Now we're going to switch back over to the green, and we're going to do green, blue, green to finish off this row. So there's green, blue, and a green. And here's row 16. So, alright, so there's that. Let's mark 15 and 16 off now. Row 17. Chain 2 and turn. And let's start out with the green. Oh, this is interesting. Alright, let's start out with a green. And then we're switching over to blue. And we're needing 5 blue. So there's 1. 2. 3. 4. And 5. Okay, so switching back to green, we need 1 green, 1 blue. And switch back to blue. And then switching back to the green, we need we need 2 green now. So there's 1 and 2. Switching back to blue, we need 6 blue and a green to finish off this row. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Alright, and then here's our green at the end, and there is row 17. Alright, so it looks like we've got this little leaf done and we're working on the leaf. So chain 2 and turn for row 18. And let's start our first square in green. And then we need to switch over to the blue. Alright, so we are needing 6 blue. So there's 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Alright, and then we're going to switch over to green. So now we need 2 green. 1, 2, and now we need a 1 blue, 1 green. So there's 1 blue, and here's our green. We're going to switch back to blue, and we're going to do 5 blue and a green to finish off this row. So there's 4. Hang on a second. Uh-oh. Alright. So, I made a mistake. I should have started out with 2 green, because this is row 18. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. Yep. So, I'm going to go back and fix my mistake, but you could start out with 2 green. Then after that you need 5 blue, 2 green, 1 blue, 1 green, 6 or 5 blue and a green at the end. So I'm going to go back and fix it, and I will see you at row 19. Alright, so row 19, we're going to chain 2 and turn, and we are starting out with 1 green this time. So then we're going to bring in our blue. And we need 2 blue. And then we're going to bring in the orange color. And we need 3 of these. 3 orange. Alright, we are going to leave this orange here and this blue right there. Bring in the green. Alright, we need 1 green here. And 2 blue. So there's 1 and 2. And then we need a green. And then we're going to switch over to the blue again. And now we're going to need 6 blue. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And then we're going to go to our last 3 is going to be green, blue, green. And that is row 19 right there. Alright, so we're going to chain 2 and turn. And on row 20 we are going to start out with 1 green and then switch over to blue, and we are going to need 2 blue, so there's 1, 2, and then switching back to green, we need 4 green, so there's 1, 2, 3, and 4. And now we're switching back to blue with 2 blue. Yeah, 1, 2, 4, 2 blue, and then back to the green, and I need 2 green here. And then back to the blue, and we need 2 blue again. Alright, and now we're needing the orange. So let's bring the green forward and the blue forward. Keep these in order so we don't tangle them. And we need 4 orange next. So there's 1. 2. 3. And 4. And then we're going to switch over to our blue, and it's 2 blue and a green to finish up this row. We're going to leave the orange there. There's what it looks like so far. We're starting the other one over here. Alright. So that is 20 rows, and you should have 20 squares. All right. So now row 21, we're going to chain 2 and turn. And we're starting off with the 1 green again. And then we are going to need to go to blue. And so it's 2 blue. So there's 1. And 2. And now we need to, green comes first, then blue, then we need to bring up our orange. So now we need 5 orange. So there's 1. 2. 3. 4. And 5. And then we need to, we're going to leave that orange there. We need to go to blue. Make sure we don't get these tangled. Switch over to blue. And we need 1 blue next.
Oh, that might be Lisa.
Yeah. Check my phone right over here. Honey, on the desk.
You better keep going. Lisa.
All right.
I'm on 33. You better go.
Yeah. As soon as we get this row done. So there is 2 green, 2 blue, and then 4 green, and then we're going to go back to blue and do 3 blue and a green. Should finish up this row. All right, and there is row 21. And we will be back for row 22. All right, so we are going to start row 22, and we're going to chain 2 and turn. In row 22, we're going to start out with 1 green square. And then we're going to bring up the blue. And we are going to need 3 blue. So there's 1, 2, and 3. And then we are going to need 6 green. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And then we need to switch back over to blue. And we need 1 blue, 1 green next. So is there 1 blue and 1 green. And then we need 2 blue. So 1, and 2. So we got green first, then blue, and then we need to bring up the orange. And we need 4 of those. So 4 orange. So there's 1. 2. 3. 4. And then switching over to the blue. All right. As soon as I can get my finger around that. And I'm going to leave the orange right here. And now we need 3 blue and a green to finish this off. And there's 3 blue, and then here's our green. And this is row 22. There's 22 rows now. Alright, so let's mark off row 22. Alright, row 23. We're going to chain 2 and turn. And we're going to start out with 1 green square again. And then we're going to switch over to the blue. And we need 3 blue. So there's 1. 2. And 3. So here's green and blue. Bring up the orange. Yes. The orange. And we need 5 of these while we bring this green and blue with us. So there's 1. 2. 3. 4. And 5. Alright, now leaving this orange behind, finding our blue and green separated here. We need the blue. And we need 1 blue, 1 green, and 1 blue. So we're switching off back and forth for the next 3 rows. Starting with blue, then green, then blue. So here we go. Alright, and then we're going to switch back to the green. And we're going to put 6 green in here. So there's 1, 2. 3. 4. 5. And 6. And then we're going to go 4 blue and a green should finish off this row. Hang on, let me finish half of that stitch. There we go. So now we need 4 blue and a green. So there's 3, and this is number 4. Okay, so there you have it. Row 23 is finished. And let's mark off this row. And then we need row 24 is next. Chain 2 and turn. Alright, we're going to start out with 1 green, and then we're going to switch over to the blue. And we need 4 blue. So there's 1. 2. 3. 4. Then we're going to switch to green, and now we need 7 green. So there's 1. 2. 3. 4. 5. 6. And 7. And then we are going to do blue, green, blue over the next 3. So there's blue, green, and blue. And then we need to go to the orange. So first we're going to bring this forward, then this. And now let's bring the orange up out of here. And we need 4 orange. So there's 1. 2. 3. And 4. And then we need 4 blue and a green to finish this off. And let's leave that orange behind right here, as we don't need to carry it any further. So 4 blue and a green should finish this off. 1, 2, 3, 4. And here's our green. Chain 2 and turn. And we'll do 25. So 25, we are going to start out with 1 green. Switching over to blue, we need 4 blue. So there's 1. 2. 3. And 4. And then we bring up the orange. And we need 5 orange. So there's 3. 4. And 5. Alright, now we're going back to blue. And we need 2 blue. Nope. And we're not bringing that orange over. We're going to leave that there. So there's 1. And 2. And then we need 2 green. One. And 2. And then 2 blue again. 2. And now we're going to switch over to green, and we need 3 green. So there's 1, 2, and 3. Switching back to blue, and we need 5 blue and a green to finish off this row. In row 25, you will have 25 squares altogether. So there's 2, 3, 4, 5, and then switch over to our green and put the green one in. Alright, so here we are with 25 rows. And this is what it looks like so far. It's coming out pretty cool. Alright. So I'm gonna mark off 24 and 25. And then when we come back for row 26, we're going to start decreasing on both ends and do the other half of the diamond. And I will see you for row 26. Okay, so I am back for row 26. We have done half of the diamond, and now we're going to start the other half. So we had 25 squares, and now we're going to start decreasing on both ends, and we'll be, instead of going up 1 square every row, we're going to be going down 1 square every row. So we are going to chain 1 and turn. And when we're decreasing, we're going to slip stitch into the first 2 stitches. And then we're going to start our square in the 3rd stitch. And now we will be doing this throughout this half. Okay? And the first square is green, and so we need to go to our blue next. And we need 4 blue. And I'm carrying this green with me because I'm going to need it. So there's 1. 2. 3. And this is 4. Alright, so now we're going to switch over to green, and we need 4 green. So there's 1. 2. 3. and 4. Alright, and now we need to switch back over to blue. And now we need 3 blue. So there's 1. 2. And 3. Switching back over to green, we need 1 green. And then we need to switch back to the blue. And now we need 2 blue. Alright, and then we need to switch over to the orange. Now carrying both blue and green with us, we need 4 orange. So there's 1, 2, 3, and 4. Alright, so we're going to leave this orange and we need to come and get the blue. Oh, why do we... Alright, so we are needing 4 blue and 1 green to finish off this row. So there's 1, 2, 3, and 4, and then we're going to end with the green. So we're going to switch over to the green, and we're going to leave that blue there, and this is the last stitch. It used to be here. It's not here anymore. It's here. It's right before that. So now we're going to do, see, that's how we're deleting on both sides. And then once you get that square done, the first stitch right here, we slip stitch into it. And then there you have it. So we have created 2 new corners, this corner and this one. So we've got this corner and this corner. Okay? And now we're going to be working our way up to the last corner. Alright, so that was row 26. And let's get that. Let's mark it off. And in row 26, you have 24 squares. So like I said, we're going to be going down 1 square each row. So we're going to chain 1 and turn, and you're going to slip stitch into the first 2 stitches, and this is what we're going to be doing from now on. I think I told you that last row, didn't I? And then start our square in the third. And so we got 1 green, and then we need to switch over to blue. And now we need 3 blue. So there's 1. 2. and 3. And then we're going to switch over to the orange. And we need 4 orange. So there's 1. 2. 3. And 4. And now let's switch back over to the blue, and we're just going to leave this orange right here. So we need 6 blue now, and I'm carrying this green with me. So there's 1. 2. 3. 4. 5. And 6. So now we need to go back to the green, and we need 1 green, 1 blue next. And then now we need 2 green. And then now we go back to the blue. And then now we need 4 blue and 1 green to finish off this row. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, switching over to green. This is our last stitch in this row, and we're going to put green into it. And then we're going to slip stitch to this first stitch right here on this one. So this is what we have so far. Okay, this is row 27. And we're marking it off. Alright, so row 28. We're going to chain 1 and turn. And we're going to slip stitch in the first 2 stitches. And then start our square in a third again. And it's always green. Alright, and then we're going to go to blue. Switching to blue. And we need to put 4 blue in next. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, and now we're going to switch back to green. And we need 2 green. So there's 1 and 2. And then we're going to switch back over to blue, and the next 2 stitches we're going to do blue-green. So 1 blue, 1 green. Back to green. And then we're going to switch back to blue. And now it's 12 blue and 1 green to finish off this row.
Dominic, watch the TV.
So there's 1,
Dominic, are you on? Okay, I gotta go down here.
2, 3,
I gotta get that. I forget Dominic over.
4,
Let me look at some.
5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and this is 12. And then we're going to switch back over to the green and put the green in. And slip stitch there. Alright, so it looks like that we are done with that tulip, so we are going to, I'm going to cut this off. We didn't use that in that row at all. Alright, so there is row 28. And that's what that tulip looks like. It goes up into a... Anyway. Let's mark it off. So 28 is done. 29 is next. So we're going to chain 1 and turn. And we're going to slip stitch in the first 2 stitches. And here we go with our first square and a third. And then we need to switch over to blue. And now we need to put 7 blue in. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And that really don't make sense. Alright, so now we need 4 orange. I'm bringing this orange back in. And now I need 4 of these. So there's 2. Three. We're working on the other tulip here. And 4. Okay, I did that right. Okay, now we're leaving this orange behind and we're going to bring in the green. And let's get them separated a little bit. Alright. Alright, so we need 1 green next. And then back to blue. And now we need 2 blue. So there's 1. 2. And then switching back to green. You need 1 green. And then switching back to blue, we need 4 blue. Alright. So there's 2. 3. 4. And then let's switch back to the green, which is our last one. Leaving that blue behind. I'm going to slip stitch into there. Alright, so it looks like we've got our other tulip started there. So we're going to chain 1 and turn for row 30. In row 30, you should have 20 squares. So we're going to slip stitch in the first 2 stitches and start in the third with our green. And then we're going to switch over to blue, and we need 3 blue. So there's 2. And 3. And then we're switching over to the green, and we need 2 green. And then switch back over to the blue and put 2 blue in. Two blue, okay. And now we need to switch back over to, not the green, we need to switch over to the orange. There. So bring that up. And we need 5 orange. So there's 1. Two. 3. 4. 5. Alright, leaving this orange here, we need to go back to the blue. Bring that back in. And now, just carrying the green, we need 6 blue and a green should finish off this row. Okay, there's 3. 4, 5, 6. And now we're going to switch back over to the green and add our green in the last stitch here. And there we have it. Alright, so yeah. So there is row 30. And let me double check to make sure I'm right on this count. Yes, so 20 squares. I was right. So let's mark off row 29 and 30. And then row 31 is next. So chain 1 and turn. And we're going to slip stitch in the first 2 stitches and start our square in the third with the green, and then we're going to switch over to blue. And we need 5 blue. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Oh, and then we need to go to the orange. We need to bring the orange out. And we need 6 of them. 6 orange. So there's 1. 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And now we're going to go back to blue. And we need 1 blue. And then back to green. We need 2 green. And then back to blue. And now we just need 3 blue and a green should finish off this row. There's 2. And 3. Slip stitch, and there we have it. So we have row 31 done. Let's Let's mark that off. So row 32, chain 1 and turn. And now we're going to slip stitch in the first 2 stitches and start in our 3rd stitch with our first green square. Alright, and we need to switch over to blue, and now we need 3 blue. And then we're going to switch over to our green. And we need 1 green. Then back to blue. And we need 2 blue. And now we need to go to orange. And we need 6 orange. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then switching over to blue. Leaving this orange right there. We are needing 4 blue. And 1 green to finish off. All right. And that is row 32. And this is what it looks like so far. So we will be back for row 33 in a moment. Okay, so we're back.
Hey, Taylor, we gotta get that caller on here.
Okay, row 33. Chain 1 and turn. And we're going to slip stitch. Alright, we're switching over to blue and we need 3 blue. So there's 1, 2, 3. And then we're switching to orange. And we need 7 orange. So there's 1, 2, hang on, I think I just put that in the wrong stitch. There we go. 3, 4, 5, 6, and this is 7. Alright, and we're switching back to the blue, and in the next 2 stitches we're going to do blue-green. So leave this orange here. So we're going to do 1 blue, 1 green, switching them over to green, do the green, and then the blue. We need to do 3 blue and a green to finish off this row. So there's 1, 2, 3. And there we have it. So there is row 33. And let's do row 34. So chain 1 and turn. And slip stitching in the first 2 stitches. And then starting in our 3rd stitch here. And then we're going to need to switch over to blue. So we need 3 blue, so there's 1, 2, and 3. And then we're going to need one green, one blue before we go to that orange. Alright, so we're going to bring up the orange, and we are going to need 7 orange. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. And then we need to finish it off by using 2 blue and 1 green to finish off this row. And then here's our green. And then slip stitch there. Alright, so this is what we have so far. And this is 33 and 34. Let's mark them off. Alright. Alright, so we're going to do 35, chain 1 and turn. And this row you should be down to 15 squares. So chain 1, slip stitch in the first 2, and then start your square in the third. Alright, switching over to blue, we need 1 blue. And then we're going to switch over to orange. We are needing 8 orange. So there's 1. 2. 3. 4. 5. 6. 7. And 8. And now we're going to switch over to blue, and we are going to finish off this row with 4 blue and 1 green. leaving that orange right there. So there's one. Two. Three. And four. Switching over to green. And slip stitch here. And there we have it. So this is row 35, and you should have 15. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Yep, 15 squares. So 36. Chain 1 and turn. And let's slip stitch into the first 2 stitches. And then start our square in that third. Switching over to blue. We need 4 blue. So there's 1. 2. 3. And 4. And then we're going to switch over to the orange. And we need 5 orange. So there's 1. 2. 3. 4. And 5. And then we're going to finish this row off by putting 3 blue and a green to finish it off. So there's 1. 2. And 3. Go to our green. And slip stitch. Alright. So that is row 36. And let's mark off 35 and 36. And then we'll go to 37. Where'd my hook? All right. So we're going to chain 1 and turn. And slip stitch. first two and start our square in the third. And then we're going to switch over to blue. And we need 2 blue. So there's 1 and 2. And then we're going to switch over to the orange. And now we need 6 orange. So there's 1. 2. 3. 4. 5. And this is 6. And finish off this row with 3 blue and a green. So there's 1, 2, 3. And here's our green. Slip stitch here. Alright, so now that was row 37, 38, chain 1 and turn. Slip stitching in the first 2 stitches and starting our green square. And then we're going to switch over to the blue. And then we need 3 blue. So there's 2, and this is 3. And then we're going to switch over to the orange, and we need 5 orange. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And then switching back to the blue, we need 2 blue and a green to finish this row off.
Let's see, 5:19. What time so we have to be there? Yeah. So we got, let's see. We got about 20 minutes, I think.
And then slip stitch. And there we have it. So there is row 37 and 38. And let's mark those off.
You want a snack or anything? You want a cookie?
So row 39, we're going to chain 1 and turn and slip stitch. And then we need one green, one blue. And then we're going to switch over to the orange. And we need 5 of those. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And then we need 3 blue and a green to finish off this row. So there's 3, and now we need our green. And that's row 39. This is what it looks like so far. Alright, chain 1 and turn for row 40. And let's slip stitch in the first 2 stitches to make our first green square in the 3rd stitch. And then we need to go to blue. And now we need 3 blue. So there's 1, 2, and 3. Switching over to the orange, we need 2 orange, so there's 1, and 2, and then we're going to switch back over to the blue, and now we just need 3 blue and a green, should finish off this row. Alright, switching over to green. in this row you should have 10 squares. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yep, 10 squares in this row. All right, and row 41, chain 1 and turn, and we're going to start with our slip stitches and then start our square in the third stitch here. Going over to blue, we need 2 blue. So there's 1. And 2. So now we need our orange. And we need 2 orange. So there's 1. And 2. Now we're going to switch back over to our blue, and now we just need 3 blue and a green to finish off row 41. Switching over to green. Slip stitch. Alright, so there, our tulip is just about done. Alright, so there's row 40. Okay, row 42, chain 1 and turn. And we're going to slip stitch in the first 2 stitches and start our green square in the third. And then we're going to switch over to blue.
Okay, you have to go potty, honey?
And now we need 3 blue.
Pretty soon, not yet. That's Bella. This is Bella.
Alright, and then we're going to get the orange, and we only need 1 orange this time. Alright, go back to blue, and we just need 2 blue and a green to finish it off. And leave that blue there, we don't need that up here. Slip stitch here. Okay, row 43, chain 1 and turn. Slip stitching in the first 2 stitches, and then starting our square in the third. Alright, now we're going to go to the blue, and we need 1 blue, and then we're going to switch over to the orange. And we need one orange.
So, Dominic, about 5 minutes or so, we'll get ready.
To go right here.
You gotta go potty, go. I'm gonna get my shoes on and I'll have
And then we're going to switch back over to the blue. And then we need 3 blue and a green to finish off this row.
Well, at least it's not raining today. Thank God, right? I shook that front.
And we're going to slip stitch here. And we just finished up our tulip. Our tulip is done. Looking pretty cool. And we are going to also cut off that orange because we don't need that anymore. I love doing that. I love cutting off colors I don't need anymore. Alright. So, we're going to chain 1 and turn for row 44. So we're just we're just working with our green and our blue now. And we're just going to be carrying the green across only. So the rest of this is just really easy. We just need 4 blue. It's 1 green, 4 blue, and 1 green. So there's 3. And 4. And we're going to switch over here to this green. And that was row 44. Slip stitch here, chain 1 and turn, row 45. In row 45 we will be down to 5 squares. And then we're going to our blue. And in row 45 it's 1 green, 3 blue, 1 green. And then that is 5 squares. So we're going to switch over to our green.
Are you about ready?
And then do our green right here.
You don't have to go, you sure you don't have to go potty?
And then slip stitch, chain 1 and turn, and 46. We'll be down to 4 squares and 46. And it's 1 green, 2 blue, and a green. So that's 4 squares.
Yeah, 540. Or you got to sign it, so.
And then slip stitch here, chain 1 and turn. We'll be down to 3 squares in this row. It's 1 green, 1 blue, and 1 green. And this is the last time we're using this blue as well. And we're just going to be dealing with one color now. So we'll cut off the blue. Chain 1 and turn. And then in this, this is 48, and we're going to be putting just 2 green in. And then 49, chain 1 and turn. And it's just 1 green. And that's right here. And we are done with this too. And cut it off. Alright. So let's look at our tulips. Oh my gosh, that looks awesome. Alright, so we have our tulips. And there's a closed tulip and an open tulip. So I am going to sew down my ends, and we'll be back to show you how to do the border. We're going to put a border around this. This is actually the front, but you know, you could decide which side you like the best. If you like that side the best or this side. Anyway, pick the wrong side facing you. Alright, and then we are going to start with our border. And we're going to start up here at this corner. And I'm actually going to crochet this end in. We're going to put 2 half double crochets in this corner. And then we need a half double crochet here. And okay, so now you're going to see 3 stitches. So we're going to half double crochet in each one of those 3 stitches. Alright, and then in this one there's 2. And half double crochet in each one of them. And then in the next one you're going to see 3 again, and then 2, 3, 2, all the way down. You should have 50, 60, it's like anywhere from 58 to 60 stitches when you get down to the corner. So I'm going to finish off this row, and I will meet you at the end of this corner. Alright, so we're at the end, and we in this corner right here, we're at the other corner. We're going to put 2 half double crochets, chain 2, and 2 half double crochets. And I want to show you this. So in the diamond, I don't know if we could get, yeah, we can get the whole thing. There are two sides that are longer. And there's two sides that are shorter. Okay? So we're going to go down. The longer sides will have about, like I said, 58 to 60 stitches. Whatever you come up with. And then the shorter sides are only going to have like 48 to 50 stitches. So just giving you that little tidbit of information. All right. So now we're going down a shorter side. And on the shorter sides, you're going to see where we put 3 stitches in the one. And we're going to take that and we're going to put a stitch in there. Right? All right. And then we're going to see these double crochets right here. So we're just going to put 2 double crochets there. Okay? And then there's a between this and this, there's a space. I'm going to put a double or half double crochet there, and then here's another. There you go again. So it's going to end up being 2, 2, 2. So there's 2 around this double, and then there's a space, and then right here is the stitch that we put the 3 stitches in. Okay, you're going to do that all the way down. So it's going to be 2, 2, 2, 2 all the way down. So it's about, yeah, 48 to 50 stitches by the time you get done. And then in the corners, we're doing the 2 half double crochet, chain 2 and 2 half double crochet. And I am going to finish going all the way around my diamond. And I'll let you get yours done. And we will see you where we started on this row 1. Alright, so we're all the way around there. So we're going to chain 1. And in this corner, we're going to put 2 half double crochets. And then in the front loop only, we're going to half double crochet in each stitch down the sides. Now the corners will still stay the same. 2 half double crochet, chain 2, 2 half double crochet. The only thing different is we're doing front loop only half double crochets down the sides. So I'm going to go all the way around with this round 2, and then I will be back with you for round 3. Alright, so the last row, we're going to chain 1, we're going to turn this whole thing around to the front side. Alright, and we're going to, in this corner, we're going to put 3 single crochets in there. And then in the back loop only, we're just going to single crochet down the side. And then once you're all the way around, you'll see these little things right here. And this is the front side, and this marks the front side. And it gives you a little bit of a design right there. Now, in the corners, you'll only put 3 single crochets. And in back loop only, all the way around during the sides, you're just going to put a single crochet in each one. So, I hope you guys had a lot of fun making this tulip diamond. And I want to thank you guys for watching. Have a great day, and bye-bye now.